Hey everyone, 2025. Yeah, Happy New Year. I honestly can't believe we've even survived this long, frankly. But hey, what better way to start off the new year than with a Dead Rock review? Yeah, I've been avoiding this series for a while now, but let just get. I just thought, you know what? Let's get right back into it. So with this chapter, it gave us a brief intermission for our main cast while still giving them a preview of what's to come, and most of it is from Yukuto's perspective, as we got to see his next two opponents, Eiji and Setsuna, in action, where it's revealed that Setsuna is a nine-tailed fox demon, and that Eiji, like Yakuto, has the ability to transform. Although, unlike Yakuto, Eiji has a bit more control over his transformation. So, in the case of both these fights, but especially the latter one, I think a lot of what Mashima's setting up here is it will be about Yakuto learning new ways in order to control his transformation, and maybe even adopting a sort of like half man half dragon beast form rather than always defaulting to going full dragon mode. Because one thing I did take away from a lot of the times that Yakuto has gone into dragon mode is that it's the mode that's the most powerful, but it's also the mode that tires him out the most. Like it's the mode that drains him the most of his energy. So in hopefully learning to kind of go into a sort of half man half dragon mode, it will allow him to kind of, in order to preserve a little more energy, hopefully. Like I think that's I have to believe that's what Mashima is setting up for these two fights, but I could be wrong. He may just kind of dust them like he always does, but I think these characters are going to be a little bit more rough to defeat than Dest, for example. Now, in saying that, there are two things to talk about with Setsuna. First is that Frey lets slip a bit of info that to us that Setsuna has the same flame as her. So this mostly seems to indicate that yeah, they both grew up in the same level of the demon world, and it would be kind of interesting in order to explore a bit of a connection there. Uh, but I don't know how likely that is going to be considering how the chapter ends. The second thing, though, is her inner monologue, where Setsuna says, "Wait a little longer, Yuri. God is within reach." Now, my default assumption is that Yuri is someone who died, and Setsuna is hoping to revive them, but with the request from God. But the other part of me is saying this Yuri is someone who's been sealed away by a powerful spell that only God can break, and that's gonna be the wish that Setsuna hopes to have granted. But yeah, it's it's one of those things where like they're trying to give this character something to kind of humanize them, but it's like I don't really know, and it's debatable if she's going to survive long enough in order to fulfill this mission, in order to fulfill that mission. But this also does, because yeah, this does feel very much like the death situation again, where we'll learn about her full story during battle, but ultimately she's probably gonna die. Although I will say this, it would be interesting to see if Yukoto takes a different approach with this fight, where he decides to take maybe just kind of fake like killing her, like fake her death, and allows her to keep living. Granted, I don't know how you do something like that with so many eyes watching, but it would be kind of an interesting to see just from a character perspective, and Yukoto realizing maybe he doesn't have to kill everyone along his path to kill God, but again, kind of have my doubts how that'll go since the only one he's having actual reservations about fighting right now is Frey. Um, Speaking of Frey, though, the chapter ends with the face-off between her and Luzin about to begin. Now, after having time to think about this match, after having like a month to think about this matchup, the more I do, the more I tend to have a little bit more confidence in Frey coming out on this on top and actually killing Luzin without pulling a suicide kill, because at the at that point, like it would make the fight between her and Yakuto all the more emotionally and thematically stronger, in the sense where Frey has already fulfilled her goals, so she wouldn't feel any regret about being killed by Ikuto at that point. Now, obviously, because I'm a Frey fanboy through and through, I don't want her to die in general, but if it did have to happen, the more I thought about like the idea of like Frey dying after having killed Luzin, it feels like the best way to in order to handle it from a from a narrative and thematic standpoint. In saying that, however, I'm I'm not discounting Frey resorting to some kind of sacrifice maneuvers either to kill Luzin just yet, because while the scenario I laid out is the one I would prefer to see happen, but the interaction between Frey and Ikuto before the match in this chapter did have a certain finality to it, so I'm not exactly ruling out Mashima's willingness to pull the rug out from under us and have him still go down the route that where Luzin and Frey both end up killing each other. Either, in fact, in his in his mind, I think Mashima may think of it as a mercy that Frey dying here means she won't have to fight Ikuto. This like his like if there's anything I've learned about Mashima post Fairy Tail is his mind is kind of twisted that way. So it's like whether it's so and granted whether it's in either one of these scenarios, honestly, it is kind of a fucked up situation. It just kind of depends on which scenario like Mashima chooses to go with. But yeah, guys, that's pretty much all I got for this review. If you enjoyed the video, like, comment, subscribe. Follow me on Blue Sky and on this Crunchyroll. Be sure to notification bell, hit the subscribe button, and just share the video around, guys. Dark Knight of Anime, signing off. Later, everyone. Have a happy New Year.